Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening blessings and salutations. There you
Welcome
go.
to Love and Enlightenment. Hope everybody's doing well, staying healthy, safe. How was y'all day today?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
It was busy, man. It's busy season. So from now till next week is go time.
Sound good. Sound good.
It's a crazy day, as always. But you know, go ahead, Pinky. Would hate to interrupt you.
You
You
weren't
got
saying
any?
something, Trina?
I'm waiting for Luis to be finished. Hey, Nicole, how
I've
are
been
you?
finished. I've been finished. I was just about to ask Debbie who's connected. Like, say what's up. to them.
Nicole. Good night, sweetheart. Well, I had a good day, quiet day. I went walking this morning and I met this elderly lady whose husband also passed 5 years ago. And she says she's very lonely. So I got to talk to her, and she didn't talk good English, but we communicated very well. So it was a good morning. Gigi gave me up. I saw accountability partner. And she was like, get up, Pinky. And I was like, I don't want to walk today. But I got up and did it. So
Excellent.
what about you two and the challenge? L1 and L2, LL and LD.
Well, I'm still I went hiking Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
excellent. That's excellent. And how about you, Mr. Llanos?
Went swimming. Went swimming. Did a lot of walking. Did Did that McKinnon thing. That was a beautiful thing. So yeah, that was nice. It was a great week. It's actually a really good weekend, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but
Right.
today's Thursday. Like,
Yeah.
aren't we doing a challenge?
What we're talking about weekend. I just want to give a shout out, as always. You know, I have to give a little shout out to some folks. Give a shout out to some of the folks in the Orlando, Florida area. Wishing them well, hoping everything is okay, and enjoy the weekend that's coming up. Yeah.
Happy birthday again, Nicole. I wanted
That's right.
I wanted to say a shout out to Subater Ice Cream. I've been there on Saturday. Oh my gosh, that's all I could say. Like, I overdid it. Everybody knew that I was overdoing it. They warned me, but I figured since the place was 45 minutes away, I had to just eat while I was there. It wasn't the ice cream. It was that I ate and I sampled everything in the indulgent section, and so I ate a lot of varieties of liqueurs.
They're going to give you a different name than Copito and Guy.
Oh gosh, yes, I had Kahlua and Bali's and Punch Cuba and Crucian rum. And
Let me ask you, Pinky. This is the same Sobateur that we have here in St. Croix. Same folks, right?
same family. Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Let's pick them up. Let's give them a shout. That's some
Yes.
good stuff.
Very, very, and I'm very picky with my ice cream. So, I tell her that a day, once it's like, it's no preservative, it's all natural. So I figured I was okay. We wasn't starting the challenge till Monday. So, when you gonna start something, kind of want to, yeah,
Overindulge.
it was the indulgent, they got indulgent section. I sampled it all.
Did they
all
just,
good.
was their grand opening this weekend?
Yes, in
Okay.
Sugarland. It was excellent, and a lot of us went. Gigi went, Beverly went, Diane went. A lot of people went. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
That's excellent.
So
Yes.
let me just shout out to Armstrong Ice Cream. You gotta big them up. That's VI's, #1 ice cream maker.
I made
So
sure I had some gooseberry from there when I was home.
yeah, this
I
needs
haven't
to-
had their ice cream in years, so
you don't know, you don't know. Right?
I haven't had it in years.
Oh,
But I
And-
like the
and-
adult, yeah. But
It's
you know,
amazing.
Armstrong is our people. Yeah, of course.
there we go.
I actually saw a post where they said it's been 100 and oh man, I think it was either 101 or 108 years
Wow.
that
Armstrong?
they've been, yes,
Wow.
that Armstrong
So I'm
ice
saying-
cream has gone. It's between it was either between like 108 and 111, something like that, years that they have been around. So that's amazing. That's testament to that family.
Yeah, cause they're perfected ice cream making bread, like especially the gooseberry is like.
And they
it's-
actually, like you said, Trina, with Subatir and their indulgence section, when I went to get the ice cream, I saw this guy ordering some name. And I was like, what ice cream is that? And this lady that was there said it has liquor, some kind of ice cream that has liquor in it.
Well, rum raisin.
No, it's not a rum raisin. It's an actual, it has a name, but I don't know if it was the actual ice cream or if it's like a shake. But somebody was getting it in the middle of the day. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Armstrong has been around for a very long time. Anybody who visits St. Croix, you definitely need to indulge in there, especially the local ice creams.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's what time you said? What you said?
I said it's 5 o'clock somewhere because she said it was high day
Yeah,
when he was eating the ice cream.
yeah.
But I don't know.
It was, yeah. But we had a good week, man, Debbie. We've been on track. So were you two guys on track?
I have been. I've been.
I'm sorry, you said you were on the track.
I walk. No, I walk on a
Oh.
trail. I walk on a trail, but we're
tried
on
to say-
track.
Yeah,
We're on
well,
track
yeah,
for our
yeah.
30-day health and fitness.
sure.
And I hope everybody else who has
Sure.
decided to join.
I thought you
Sure.
said she did track, like a weave, like a track weave, but
Oh gosh,
is
really?
walking.
I've been in the sun,
Yeah.
man. So yeah,
this
you
look-
know,
this looks like
I've
a
been in the
weave.
sun.
I'm just saying, you said track, so I was thinking like the weave track or something like that.
No.
Okay, yeah. Okay, this look like a weave. Okay.
Okay. Well,
I'll lend it to you, Lucienne.
tonight we decided that we were going to pick some of the top posts that created a high post reach. That basically means people took the time to kind of read it and look over it. And also it had they garnered a lot of comments. So we decided that to start this conversation, because again, I'm going to reiterate to everybody who's joining us that we are not professionals. We are friends having a discussion, male perspective, female perspective, some single, some not, some have been married, some divorced. We're plethora of, possibilities. So we were going through some of these comments, and one that definitely seemed to get a lot of comments was posted by Mr. Llanos. And it said, you've been approached by someone who has expressed interest in you. Find them attractive, but decline because you're already involved. The person then asks, well, take my number just in case things don't go as planned. You enter their number in your phone. Is this cheating? I'll read some of the comments. Miss Armstrong wrote, I don't know if you can call it cheating. I would say it's more of an opportunity to cheat, because after this, everything your boyfriend/man does wrong, you have another door that you can go through. I personally wouldn't accept the number, but somebody else may, and there's nothing wrong with that. Take care of your significant other, and incidents like this won't worry you. Nicole also agreed it's not cheating, but you don't take his phone number. When he says just in case things don't go as planned is already an insult to my union. And she said she would say bye. So, I mean, we all kind of some of us made comments. I don't think I made a comment, but to me, I consider it an opportunity to cheat.
Are you
And-
guys freezing up?
No,
Because
no.
they keep freezing over here. Yeah.
And I would say that for someone to say to me, make that comment, and for me to put the number in my phone already speaks to the fact that I'm opening that door. So I wouldn't do it. And it's not necessarily the act of cheating, but it's a possibility of cheating. So for me, it would be an absolute no. How about you, Mr. Yano?
Well, yeah, it was an interesting piece. Like
But you said no, cause you froze up for a second. The whole everything froze. So you said it's an absolute no to giving a number, or absolute no to it's.
Taking the number. Taking the number and putting it in my contacts.
But is it cheating? That's the question, right?
For me, I just said it is the ability. It opens the door for cheating. So for me, it's not the actual cheating, but it is opening the door. And actually, I completely agreed with Mr. Otto and the way he explained it. He said, twist it any way you want. If you're in a relationship and you take the number, it means you are cheating because of what was said before you took the number. And that's my sentiment as well.
Yeah, that was there was a lot of actually, all the responses were really good responses. I think one of them which was really stood out, it's funny as hell. I think it was Kimi Abraham or something like that. She said every woman needs to have a good spare tire. I mean, I didn't realize that's what we were. But anyway, thought that was
Debbie gonna go out and come back. Are you freezing?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
So, like I said, in my commentary, first I thanked everyone for definitely sharing their thoughts. This is an opinion piece, so like I said, there's no one right or wrong answer. It's really based on what your perception is of cheating in this specific scenario. But also mention, for me, it's about trust and loyalty. And then at the end of the day, would you want that to be done to you? How would you feel about that? Because then my question is going to come now, well, hey, where's the loyalty to us? So, if it's for advancement or something that's different, I could understand you take someone, I mean, that happens all the time. You take somebody numbers for some sort of advancement, whether it be business education or anything like that. And clearly, like I said, I mentioned this. But if it's under that premise, I mean, would you want to happen to you? And then think about it. Let's say you do take number, and let's say, in fact, okay, you do make the call because things didn't work out. Let's say we go in that direction and that happens. You don't think that same thing will happen to you? You don't think that person is going to probably turn around and get somebody else? I mean, you never know. I'm just saying, again, this is hypothetical in so many ways, and it's like there's no one right or wrong answer. It's just how we feel about cheating in this scenario, or what we think cheating is. It's an interesting question, though, I must say.
How about you, Mr. Lucian?
I think that it's, as I said before, I think it's opening a door for the opportunity to cheat. It's a door opener, and my thing about it is you got to think about it just starts with that. Then he might give you a text in the morning like, "Good morning, sexy. How you doing?" Blah blah blah, and then you start responding, and then from there it starts to spiral out of control. Next thing you're taking vacation trips to Puerto Rico, and saying you're going on business trips, and then So as Louis was saying, when you invite stuff like that, you invite a disrespectful factor to your relationship as well, because then it's just some dudes will be like, yeah, man, this chick bop bop bop, she did with this dude and texting me all the time, running me down, and you know what I'm saying. So I think there's a respect factor that needs to be looked at as well, and also reciprocation, would you want your mate to do that to you? So I definitely think it's like a gateway drug, you know, but not like a class 1 felony drug. So definitely it's a door opener.
Piggybacking off of what you're saying, it's kind of in line with Mr. Ventura said, cheating begins in your mind and in your heart before the act. It's premeditated action first. That's kind of what you said.
And what Gigi said. I like what
um,
Gigi said.
Did you see that comment?
What?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
do.
God.
What?
Oh Lord. Mr.
Yeah.
Herbert said it's not cheating per se, but like Debbie said, it's opening the door to cheating and it's also disrespectful to your partner. Miss Pinky,
Oh,
what is your
Lord.
take on this?
Yeah, RJ said, I mean, Lucia, you know a lot. You had like a whole story behind the whole thing. You start off, you end. I mean, if I was your English teacher, you will gain an F because you did not answer the question. Okay.
Wow.
You will gain an
Wow.
F. You never did answer the question, Lucy. And the question
Yes, I
is it cheating? Now, to say
did.
it's a gateway,
What did I say?
yes or no? Is it you have to answer the question. I mean, that's how I almost fail English because I didn't answer the question.
Listen. I like gray areas. There's always gray areas. Okay? Nothing is
Okay.
black and white. They have gray areas all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like
Okay.
grays. Yes.
That's the artist in you, I guess. There is no, you just, yeah. Anyway, this ain't art class. We're not gonna do all the colors. F. Okay. So, Luis, you posted, so of course you think it's a great question. For me, I always said, let us empower people.
What did you
A
mean
number
today?
does not mean cheating. Yes, it could be disrespectful. Yes, it could be a gateway at the end of the day. But the question is taking a number, putting it in your phone, is that cheating? Come on. Cheating is sharing an intimate space with someone. Well, not cheating, but I guess it would be. We're sharing an intimate space. Taking a number, this is what I'm saying, Debbie. This is my take on it.
Okay.
So it's you take a
Okay.
number. It can't a number. Okay. So what I'm saying here is, at the end of it, you have no control whether you gonna cheat with this person or not. That's why you say, like, you don't have no say in the matter. So you take the number, you gonna cheat. You have to be empowered. You have to know that the power is in your hand and the choices you make is your choice, and not because somebody gave you a number or somebody invite you someplace. That's just how I see it.
So Pinky, so Pinky, you're cool if it was actually done to you. If your partner actually, given the same scenario, you're okay with that, and having a young lady.
That was
propose-
not.
Hold on. You can't. No. Hold on. I'm asking if you're okay with the same thing happening to you. You're okay with that. You're fine with that. You're comfortable.
I never said that.
I'm asking a question.
I never said that.
I'm asking a question.
I'm
asking the question.
I would like to.
I'm asking a question.
This is the thing.
The thing is, either you feel comfortable with it or not.
He's asking you a question. Answer the question.
You're comfortable answering the question.
Oh my God! Wait,
You got to go through all of that, Pinky.
Louis, let me say something. Kind of like,
Yeah.
I guess that would help Pinky. Gigi said no, not cheating. Miss Thomas, no, not cheating. You are honest with the person and let them know you're in a relationship. You may share their number with a single friend who you think may be good for them, or things might really not work out in your own relationship, and you may use the number sometime in the future. Who knows? For me, just me, honest, let them know, hey, I'm in a relationship and that is where my energy and focus is and will be. So I guess that kind of helps you out, Trina. But in the scenario that Louis gave to you, you can't even answer the question.
No. What I'm saying is this. I can answer the question. Why I'd like this. I'd like to live in the ideal world where Trina is so evolved, right? That she would trust her partner to the point where where she would trust her point to the partner, trust her partner to the point where I know this is not going to go anywhere. Okay, that's why I aspire to be. Right? That is the enlightened tree.
But you want him to have your same view, so he wouldn't be cheating at all. So it's okay for him to take the number.
I just want to know that everybody gonna do the right thing at the end of the day. I just want everybody to get along.
First of all, remember, this is an opinion piece. It's based on your opinion. And you feel it's not cheating, and that's fine.
Based on my opinion, when my husband was married, and he was taking out a woman, I never took nobody number. I never disrespected my husband in that way, form, or fashion. If I have a mate, I will not disrespect my mate in that way, form, or fashion. Okay? And when I was married, I never did. And if my husband did, I don't know. But I'm quite sure he did. So I understand. And I didn't like it. Let me put that in there. So.
But you said, like, when your husband was married, who was he married to?
When I was married. No,
but you said, like, when your husband was married, something like when your husband was...
you got me in the hot seat. Like, things gonna come around. We expect. It's hot in here. Like, I don't know what to say. Leave me alone.
Really?
Let me see if there's.
I know what Karen talking about. I thought he was about to start spitting out dinner menu,
because you gave the whole. Then next thing you know, you're taking it to Puerto Rico, and so she was saying that you were going into, like, I don't know, some kind of.
Yeah, you had a whole story. It sounds like you know what you're doing, Lucian.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, it could happen,
Well, we can just go right past that. Maybe happen in the movies. I don't know, Karen.
Did anybody else make a comment?
Gosh, RJ.
Again, like Louis was saying, I mean, it's commentary, but it's things to think about again, because there's always these gray areas, and at the end of the day, you have to really kind of stand on your morals and your virtues and how strong this relationship is, because it could possibly, because like we kind of discussed off camera, that someone giving you the number, trust you me, sometimes isn't just sitting waiting for you to call. Like Lucian said, texting starts happening, phone calls start happening, you and your mate get into some disagreement, you vex, and then that's just a gateway. So it's just something to really think about in going forward.
Pinky couldn't even respond. I mean, that's
I did respond.
First time in a long time I ain't see you choke up like that, Pinky. Something
I did respond. My answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. Taking a number is not cheating.
No. So you don't mind that happening to you?
That's not the question.
That's my question to you, though.
I answered it. You forgot?
You did not.
I did.
I'm sorry. So you won't be a problem. That's good. That's good to know.
I answered the question.
Okay, so the next one that we're going to kind of discuss, because this one got 75 comments so far, is what's big in the news right now. And it's so apropos because the other day when we did our card game was purchased by this individual, but as everybody has been hearing, it was from him.
And we had fun with it, huh?
Yeah. So everybody, I'm sure that a lot of people have been hearing about Mr. Derek Jackson. I don't know if you'd call him prior to the last couple of days, like the relationship guru on issues with women, because most of his comments and his platform are women. But I don't know, Lucian, you posted it and you asked, what are your thoughts on this? And it was the video where he was sitting with his wife talking about the allegations that were made against him and that he cheated. And basically he's been giving all this information to women, but living the lie, or actually living what he's telling women men are out there doing. And we got a lot of comments on that one. I'm gonna start with you, Lucien. What was your take? And actually, did you know about Derek Jackson prior to these last couple of days?
No, I didn't. I really didn't know who he was. I mean, I've like scrolled past his videos. I'm just like, you know. But first of all, right? I think that people are like, he was able to give women advice because he knew what he was doing in real life. Under the facade of helping people, he was actually manipulating females to, of course, think that he was this great guy and he was doing his dirt behind the scenes. Now, the good thing about it is the fact that he was actually using his real life experience and helping a lot of females. Think about this. If he did not get caught, y'all would have still been buying his board games. You would have still been watching. You still been watching his little thing or whatever on TV in his car. I like, dude, can you get a studio? Like, you're selling all these board games and you're still in your car. Like, I don't understand that. Like, spend a little bit of money. Maybe you wouldn't got busted if you did. But anyway, but I think that he used his real life experience to really help a lot of females. Um, I don't know how his wife's hand is feeling right now because in that video he looked like if he was like stopping the blood flowing 'cause he was gripping the hand hard, yeah. But I think that I think she's just like a female that's like I think she's being abused. Like the whole scenario reminds me of the the like major hype thing with this woman who was like being controlled because of money, you know? And he's just there like, yes, and I'm sorry, but buy my book, and I won't do it again. Buy my book, and I'm just like, he just like, dude,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was
I
that was
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting that you're coming forward, um, but you keep
listen. He
alluding
want
to this book.
he still want to make Amazon top 20 books at a month. Okay, he ain't there in that now.
Oh,
He's like, y'all better just forget about what I did and make sure my book reach a Amazon top 10 or whatever. Because for you to come out on TV and apologize for something and then still use that as a marketing tool, he got some cojones on him, Dread. You know what I'm saying? But then that shows you his narcissistic behavioral pattern. You know, so I also blame us for also elevating people above ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And put them on like godlike pedestals, and then when they fall now, they're like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that, and blah blah blah. He did it. You got great information out of it. So I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
agree. How about you, Louis?
I honestly,
Did you
I
know about him prior to this?
no, just little snippets here and there from stuff that I've come across online. I really didn't pay attention to the whole thing too much. She actually looked like a kid next to him. I mean, he's just such a massive person. She looked so tiny next to him. So I was trying to figure out what the hell that was all about. And then I watched some of it, and then I was like, yeah, this is just another one of those social media events to garner some sort of views, likes, and all that stuff, some sort of for advancement. I mean, so I'm like, okay, just moving right along. But we as a society tend to gravitate to things negative, and that just pushes him further. That's what that does. Um, I don't know about his content. To be honest, I can't really comment on his content. But for that specific, situation, it just didn't look too real to me. I didn't watch the whole thing, so that's where I was on that. I wasn't interested at all, to be honest.
Can I say something?
Sure.
And what I didn't understand is why would you allow your wife to come on a show, well, not even a show, a live,
Right.
with a bonnet on. Like what kind of craziness was that?
What was
Like,
that about? Like I said, she looked like his daughter. What was that about?
I didn't
She looked like a
understand.
little kid.
Yeah, like did we sit down and have a talk beforehand? Hey, baby, put on the bonnet because we want people to feel that you're like a housewife or something. So just put
I
it on
mean,
to kind of round the whole story up. Like I didn't understand that.
you know how uncomfortable it is to have your hat out
But
and
it,
then you trying to
but you
talk
know
and you
what?
using your hand. Like, what
It
is
could have
going
been.
on?
It
I
could have
don't
been.
know. Like
Yeah, but it could have been her being defiant because maybe he asked her to come on looking a
Yeah,
certain way, and she
yeah.
made the decision in her
Hmm.
ability to be defiant. I'm coming on
Hmm.
the way I really am because this is not going to help you. If anything,
Right.
think about it. Indirectly, it could hurt him because of, again, we're having a conversation. Why would he? Everybody knows when he's, in his videos, it's not that he dresses up, but he does look presentable, and it could have been her in an
Yeah.
underhanded way doing that, not to help him.
Hence the gorilla glue grip that he had on her hand.
oh yes, yes.
It was
Did you read
crazy.
did you
Come
read
on.
what Paulina Lizama just said?
What she said.
Yeah, I actually heard something today because this is not ending because apparently when he appeared after he did the live, supposedly he contacted, because I think there's like 3 or 4 women that have made allegations, that he contacted one of the women. I'm not sure. I think it's the doctor, and told her he needs to talk to her to resolve some situations, and then something about he wanted to know camera angles at her house and like all kind of. I heard like
It's
little
all
stuff. I can't listen
staged,
to that
man.
stuff, but it hasn't stopped basically.
All staged.
So
That's crazy.
Pauline Lazama said he's actually still cheating when he claimed in the initial video that he stopped 6 months ago. The mistress who came out today said those car videos are outside of her house. And she said, I believe he's sick beyond narcissism.
Shout
Wow.
out to Pauline Lizama. How you doing?
Yep.
Shout out Pauline.
Welcome.
But let me say this though. So let's suppose now. Let's just suppose his wife was like game for this. Like, you know what, you could go out there and do what you want, and we could just stay married. Like, would people look at her differently? I mean, I think that because the way how she just looked too calm to me. Like, what's going on with that?
I know. Because I even looked up his net worth just to see like what kind of
Money you got?
money we're talking about. It says that he is
A
worth
thousand a year?
he's worth 1.5 million.
1.5.
Yep. And he started this in 2014. With these, like I said, he started out in a car, like doing the whole car thing. But and then he has a card game. He does all these conferences, but it said that he's worth 1.5. And like you said, for all you know, it was because we've never really seen her. I knew he was married. He's alluded to his wife, but he's never ever, this is the first time publicly people are seeing the two of them together. That speaks volume about somebody who's uplifting women. You would think that she would have been in some of these conversations so that it's not coming from like a single man. This is supposed to be a married man speaking to women. And so why was she never in any of these videos? So again, who knows?
Yeah, because to me it's just too is. Oh, sorry, Pinky, we just cut you out. Go ahead, girl. Say your thing, girl. We're sorry. Go ahead.
See
It's
what
like
she
I'm
has
not
to say.
here. It's like I'm not here. I never heard of him. I never heard of him before. Never heard of him. Never watched a video. Never saw his face. Ain't know him from a can of paint. Now, I might have give him my number, my mistake, and then the next thing you know, the man trying to hit at me. You never know. You know what I mean? You never know.
He did not just
That's
go
what he
there.
did. That Debbie, you got relax, man. What I'm saying is this.
Well, we know how
was
that
his-
would have end up because he'd have probably been holding her hand. But anyway, let me go ahead.
What I'm saying is that was his ammo. That's what he did. Women would contact him and then he would get their numbers and then he would invite, because they would be looking to him for advice. They would be looking to meet up with you or something for advice, and then he would be looking, he claimed he gave them advice, but then the next thing you know, he hit on them. So if Derek Jackson asks for your number, I suggest you don't give it to him. Okay, so, but it's just sad that he used his platform to solicit women. I believe if he's sick or whatever, because we don't blame everything on sickness. Sometimes this is just some people ways. I don't know if he's sick or not, but to me, it seemed like this is his intention. His intention is to prey on certain type of women through his platform. They come to him for advice. These are women who are broken or whatever, and he does take advantage of them. The doctor, I listened to the doctor, so I listened to videos today. I never listened to any videos today. I had planned not to listen to no video. I didn't even want to hear them. I was like, Luis, it's all staged. I still believe it's all staged. You know, the wife, people claiming she died in a cult. That's why she wearing the turban or whatever she wearing on her head. I just think it's sad that we always keep getting pulled into these Hollywood dramas and we don't know what the hell they're about. We don't know who lying to us. We don't know who telling the truth. And at the end of the day, we giving them the views, the viewing they need. We buy, because the first thing he said is buy my book, like Lucien said. And I was like, he didn't just say that, did he? And I'm like, why would a woman who is married to a millionaire look like that when she knows she's going to be on camera? I have seen videos today because I was watching that woman, Tasha K. I've never seen nothing so ghetto before, but hey, whatever. I was like, whatever. The woman would dress up and looking nice in certain situations. She would dress looking nice. Tasha K so ghetto, right? She said, I got the same outfit. I bought it from Chick Me. I said, she just said that for real. This is terrible. What I'm saying is, your husband is a millionaire. Why you gonna come out looking like that, right? Maybe she is abused. We don't know. Maybe the whole thing is staged. We don't know. But at the end of the day, they want us to have an opinion. They want us to buy their books. They want us to view this nonsense. They want us to have opinions about it. It's just a mess, is what I say. And I don't see why we always have to be involved in this crap and they're taking our money, and we need to keep our money for our own selves. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. You know what I mean?
Piggybacking on what you said. Hello? Was that me?
Yeah, it has like a little feedback, but go ahead. I think it stopped.
To me, it's strange. Like even with the whole major hype thing, you know what I'm saying? Like his viewership skyrocketed after the whole incident. So to me, it's just like, okay, so are they doing this because they need to like boost their careers? Because just like this doctor, no matter what, people can't say that he wasn't giving them good advice. I mean, not a doctor, but whatever he is. You know, he was giving them good advice. It was just like he wasn't living by what he was giving them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
he was acting as though he was getting the information from men that he knows, and it wasn't him. I mean, at the end of the day.
I mean, at the end of it, we all could give advice. I mean, we're doing that, but we ain't getting advice. But, you know, I listened to some of his advice. It wasn't bad, but come on, what is advice? Like, you know, at the end of the day, he no doctor. He went to no school. He studied nothing. If you look on YouTube, we got so much young people giving advice on dating. And I when we first started this show, I used to be like, what gives them, why they could give advice? Like, why are we tuning into these people? Like, half of them wasn't even in successful relationships. You know what I mean? And then again, let's be honest, relationships that fall apart, right? You could be a good, decent person. Who you married to, you have no control over that, right? Who you there with, who's your partner, we have no control over that. So what do? That don't make you a bad person or a good person. But what makes this situation bad is the fact that he is using his ways to help people to lower people in. It's like a pastor or anybody who have a platform to help, and they use that to solicit whatever it is they're trying to get. It's just and they're abusing the trust that people have in them to come to them. So that's the problem we have in this situation.
You know what, too? You got to think about it this way. Politicians do it. Pastors do it. Priests do it. It's the same thing. He just took what he learned in church and brought it to this platform over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
And they use it for the personal growth and personal advantage. You know what I mean?
of
We
course,
talk about
What I'm saying is
talk
he
about
is using, okay, cheating is one thing, right? To me, this is not about cheating. Cheating is one thing. This is more about the fact that he is using the fact that women are coming to him for help to abuse these women.
but we
It,
just
it,
said
it goes,
that. Same thing. It's the same thing with the church. You have people who just come to confession and sit on there and pour out their heart, and then the priest then just go and do the same thing. We just said that, Pinky. The thing about it is like you have to understand that like just because somebody is out there supposedly doing good things, that does not mean that they're a good person. Point blank and simple. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I think that we spend so much time like, oh my God, look at, like for example, I'm not saying I'm against Joe Biden. I'm just saying. Okay, I know how you Democrats act. Just calm down. The thing about it is this, right? Everybody's like, oh yeah, with Joe Biden in is gonna change the world and blah blah blah. We need to stop and understand. When somebody goes into office, they have already a platform put before them, and this is the guidelines that you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's gonna be a different face in the office, but it's gonna be the same drill. So we have to stop like believing that these people are our saviors. You gotta learn how to save yourself and get the help that you need if you're in a bad place to save yourself.
Correct. Correct. I'm a true believer that you gather information and you take from it whatever is going to help you, hopefully in a good way. But you don't ever, at the end of the day, we are all carnal. People do crazy stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have good content, and good information. But we even like you said, even in church, sometimes we put people on a pedestal, but at the end of the day, this person might be really good at speaking. This person might be really good at interpreting the Bible, but they're still a man and they still make mistakes. And that's
exactly.
where I think the problem is. And if nothing else, this should emulate the fact that, yeah, if it's some information that's going to help you in relationship, being a better person, being a better um, parent, being better in your career, but don't put that person on a pedestal, because at the end of the day, we don't know what happens and who they are and what they're doing. So,
You know,
um,
the word mistake, he been doing this for so long. He been doing this from high school. I don't know if mistake is the right word. Or them priests that like, yeah, I don't know if it's mistake is the right word. Them priests who like molested heaps of children, and I ain't trying to criticize nobody religion or nothing like that. These things are not mistakes. These are, you have a problem and you gain away with it. And if you gain away with it, you're going to continue to do it. You're hurting people. If you're hurting people, then you got to know that it's not a mistake. People are make mistakes every day. You make them, I make them, we all make them. But when you molest all these children, or he doing this for 14 years, this is not a mistake. You know what I mean? And I'm not judging nobody because, like I said, we all do things, right? And I'm not excluded from the bunch. But the fact that he's not even admitting to what he's done, and this is a problem too. Like, this is how, I don't know if he don't want to admit it because he's selling a book. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if they're selling the book or whatever. He ain't admitting to nothing. He claimed that he didn't have sex for 6 months, and the doctor said he had sex Friday with her. And she have video. She says she gonna send video of he being naked in her house. You know what I mean? So, and she's not the first person that came out. He did this. Okay, I did this, blah, blah, blah. I did this. But you did it, you keep doing it, and now you're still even lying that even more people could come out and say you do it. To me, it's like the Bill Cosby thing. Come on, Bill Cosby. We wanted to defend Bill Cosby, and I know you put that post up there, Lucianne, where you was like the black woman and the black man. I mean, we were defending Bill Cosby, man. We were behind Bill Cosby. And I was like, yo, after done 20 woman done come out, we don't think he do something wrong. He had to do something wrong if 20 whole woman done come out already. When are we going to stop defending Bill Cosby and the stuff he do? You know, and it's not just Bill Cosby. It's all of them. It's Bill Clinton. It's all of them who does things and they never admit that they don't do these things. And we, the innocent people, that get caught up in the ignorance. What are you doing it for your political gain?
But what we also have to do, the onus is on us again, that just because someone is in holds a certain title or is in a certain profession, even with a doctor. I mean, it's practicing medicine. You don't put 100% in anybody, because at the end of the day, like, people make mistakes, and I'm not saying mistakes, but people do things willfully. People have different agendas. I think if nothing else, again, this should teach us that the only person we can rely on at the end of the day is us, is ourselves. You know, that's the only person. And for you, again, you have to pick. You know how they say pick nonsense out of however.
It's out of nonsense.
It's out of nonsense. You take from it what you may, but you yourself have to, because now you have people who like thought he was like this great, amazing relationship guru. Like, sometimes you need to look within, because at the end of the day, just because somebody's going up there and saying something, whether they even have a master's degree in whatever it is they're talking about, does not necessarily mean that they really truly are out for good of everybody. So,
Best intentions. It's true.
you know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
So,
Go ahead.
Debbie, I would like to request that we stop advertising for this man and move on to something else.
Yes,
Because
we will. We are. So you put up a post, Lucien, that said healthy relationships feel boring to people who are used to relationships filled with toxicity and drama. They are not sure what to do with love that is calm, kind, drama-free, non-toxic, and doesn't require them to constantly make painful sacrifices. So a lot of people said so true, 100. I agree. Shelly said, I keep saying this to my support group. The right partners we find to be boring and put in the friend category because they are consistent and understanding. Everything we actually want, but afraid to lose, because that is where the fear really is. Interesting phenomenon. May said, toxic people will create a toxic environment wherever they go or whoever they're with. Boring or interesting. They need that drama to survive. So if there's none, they'll create the drama. So what are your feelings on that?
I think that a lot of people take baggage with them, and let's rewind a little bit. We are usually creatures of our
Creatures of habit.
yeah. So let's suppose now that you grew up with your mother and your father screaming and yelling at each other and fighting in the household. Then guess what's going to happen? As you embark in relationships, you're going to be screaming and yelling and not being able to, to relay your message to your partner, because that's how you were taught. That toxic behavior was what you were taught in how to deal with situations. So for you to enter something with somebody who doesn't have that toxic background, it's strange to you. And then you're going to be like, this is not normal. And I want what's normal to me, and would actually sabotage your relationship because that's what you're used to. I'm talking from experience because I've dealt with women who have had that trait. It's just like, you don't have to scream at me to get your message across. I am hearing you. Tone it down. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a discussion. Or I'm going to just walk around mad all day because that's what I was taught. And you're supposed to read my mind and tell me, why am I mad at you? You know what I'm saying? That's why conversations, as Mr. Llanos has always spoke about, is very important. You sit down, you be like, listen, I see where you're coming from, and I know, like, because I'm used to this, um, what you're going through, but you have to understand this is not how relationships are supposed to be. You know, we need you to understand that, and let's have a conversation how we can make our relationship better by not having to go through this whole toxic behavior pattern all the time.
True.
That was a lot.
But it's true. But I think, like you said, I think people, even though you say you're going to stray away from it, it's what you're used to. That's
Yep.
the tools and how you learned it. But it's so sad that, we do say we want someone who's peaceful, we want someone who's honest, but then because it's sort of like muscle memory, that's what we're used to. So even if you don't have the whole thing, when someone comes completely different, we either start being suspicious that, nah, I can't possibly be this decent a human being. And
Hmm.
also on top of that, I think for a lot of people, it's also like, um, it's just too good to be true. Um, or again, like you sabotage because all you know is toxicity and drama. And for some people, it's like an adrenaline rush, to like, okay, we get mad and we get back, good again. And we get mad, but when things are like steady, it becomes boring and stagnant. It can be interesting in other ways. But we're so accustomed to that we don't know how to shy from it. And again, and um, our kids are seeing this. And so then when they enter into relationships, it's the same thing. So it's a continuous effect. So, I always say, like, affirm, me and my list,
Mm.
affirm what it is that you want, but make sure that when you put that out there and it shows up, don't question it. I mean, not to say you're not paying attention to things, but don't question it. If that's what you're asking for. Go ahead, Louis.
I just, yeah, it's crazy. We gravitate to chaos again. We love it. I mean, people, it's exciting, it's extraness, and no one likes the normal path, and just being, for some folks, it's just boring to just have a pleasant relationship. What is that? No, nobody. It needs some excitement, but there's other ways that you can create excitement. It doesn't have to be all that toxic vibes. But kind of like I said, we had Crucial and Collins wanted to give him. Was it Crucial? No, Big C. So Craig, yes, he gave a post with regards to
The different
I think
things that men.
man relationship rules, which was
Yeah, that was
interesting.
funny.
And I've always said, it was interesting because the one thing I've always said, I'm not a mind reader. So let me know what's going on so I can figure out how we can make this work. You know what I mean? Like, what Luciano was saying. I mean, come on, I can't, you're gonna come on your shoulder, you're gonna scream and all of that. Just level me, talk to me, let me just get this over with so we could, live in a much more peaceful environment.
But it's hard.
It is for some people because that's all they know. That's all they know. So you get into this vicious cycle, and at some point, because they bring in that old baggage from whatever previous vicious cycle that they had before, it has to stop somewhere, and with somebody has to break that.
Yep. Correct.
It's not healthy.
Correct.
And I think, to piggyback on what you're saying again, Louis, is the fact that I think people have to have that sense of almost losing you to appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So
I've been
do
there.
shit, like, do crazy shit, and then know that if they get busted, the woman gonna walk away from them. But they do it because it's just like it's exciting. You know what I'm saying? But then no, when the girl walk up and leave them and start seeing somebody else
Well,
2 weeks after, and you know,
you
then
guys you guys remember me talking about the great breakup that I've
right.
experienced. So that's somewhat of an example. Watch Biggie face. You guys remember that conversation I had about the great breakup? Boy, let me tell you, she did that
A
so well.
learning experience, wasn't it?
Oh my God. hell of a learning
Well,
experience.
I
But
listened.
guess what? But we still cool though. You know what I mean? I just it opened my eyes. Though. I know one thing. When
Were
you
your
really,
eyes were open to, Louis? Were your
let me
eyes were
finish.
open to?
Let me finish by saying, Biggie, thank you. So, you know, you just read that. I was like, not me long, man. But no, it opened my eyes to hear it is. I think I got everything under control, and nope, she was calling the shots,
Hmm.
put me in
Yep.
check. But that
But
was, you
what?
know, that was in my young.
Why?
That was in my younger days. That was in my younger days. So that's all.
I still ask you why, and I can't get why.
Why
I,
what?
I said what I have to say, Pinky. I mean, let's move on.
Okay. So the whole thing about this toxic thing, right? We got to, and Louis, Allah, you say, Lucia and Debbie, you say it too. But we have to understand that people working from a subconscious place and not from a conscious place. If you get up every morning and you brush your teeth the same way every morning, you're gonna start to do it on automatic, and you ain't gonna even realize you're doing it. And that's the problem. If you custom to people treating you bad, if you custom to people talking to you bad, you have to go through a process of healing. You got to go through a process of awareness. You got to wake up to the reality. It's not that's just that simple. We get into our relationship, blah, blah, blah. And then we can't be criticizing people because, again, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So why these things are happening is because of all them things I just said. If this individual grew up in a toxic household, how could they possibly know any better? You know what I mean? How could they know that there is a different life? How could they know that you could talk to a partner instead of yelling and screaming at a partner? How do they know this? They got to study that. They got to come to a place where they figure that out. And some people have got a whole life and they don't figure it out.
Well, you know what,
So
Pinky?
it's a sad situation. Yeah,
I think
Lucian.
it's about awareness as well. I mean, you have to become aware of the situation yourself. I keep on telling people, like, nothing in your life is going to change until you become aware of it. Like some
Right.
people, they just don't, they have no awareness. Like for like example, right? If you're walking down the street, right, and you're on the phone and you're talking loud because you're not aware that you're speaking loud. So I mean, a person could hear you, but you just like for some reason yelling in the phone. I don't know. People do that all the time. But
I don't do that. And I didn't even know that.
I get people doing that right in front of me, and I'm like, hey, I'm right here. You could lower your voice, please? I'm right in front of you.
right,
But people get caught up, and people, that happens. They get into the emotions, man.
right, or even like a co-host. You know what I'm saying? Just right next to you, and then just
Right next to you, and it's like we can
yelling
hear
all the
you.
time. I don't
You know what I
understand.
mean? They're just loud for some reason. Like they got extra loud setting.
Oh,
See, again,
giving
not
jazz.
not conscious of it, not conscious of it. Let me use the example of the co-host to say something. Every time I talk in our meetings, right, I do on my iPad. When I do on the show, I do on my computer. So I either practice on the iPad and I have to talk louder on the iPad than when I do on the computer. So when I do on the computer, I got to talk softer, but I don't know. The mic on the computer is much better.
I'm lost.
I don't know. I am
I'm
not
lost.
conscious.
I'm lost. I'm lost.
Well, again, we've talked about this and I've said it many times. I think that we have to live a life of intention. And if our intention is to be in healthy relationships, we have to work on how can we show up in, healthy as well. Because I think, like you were saying, I think one of the biggest issues why just things happen is because we don't live intentionally. We just live. And that's how a lot of times crazy things happen, and piggybacking on the whole awareness thing. We're not aware. We just go through life, and if there's nothing else that we can tell ourselves as well as our children looking at us, all those, younger generations, you have to be intentional about everything in your life. And it doesn't mean it's going to consume you, but you just it makes you a lot more aware living an intentional life.
But let me add to that, Debbie. In a relationship and in a partnership, if we notice our partner have certain flaws with them, and I was guilty of this when I was in my relationship, we can help our partner become aware of their behavior through a loving, kind way instead of a critical way. You know, if you notice your partner loud all the time, because I was told that I was loud when I was a young girl, I had no idea, you know. But if a partner would be loving and kind and bring this to your awareness that you're loud, you know, you might want to work on it. If
She was one of them kids that she used to show back all the time out there and say,
no,
No,
and
she wasn't doing that.
no, I was shouting to my mother. I hear I used to shout down the street, but that's my mother used to shout down the street. So we all learn to shout down the street. So you to do things and you don't even know you're doing it. But you could be loving and kind and help your partner if they're willing to accept, because now some people gonna be on the defense, you know, we know that, you know, and that's a whole nother thing. But you know, we could try. We may fail, we may succeed. You never know.
So again, be intentional about what it is you want. Pinky turned me on to a movie that was actually pretty interesting. It's from 2018. I don't know if everybody's seen it, and it's called Nobody's Fool. Tiffany Haddish is in it. For anybody who is dating in relationship or new relationship, whatever, it's actually a really pretty good movie, and a lot of things that we talk about kind of highlights it in that movie. But I found it to be a pretty good movie. The next one is, do you all believe lack of attention can cause you to fall out of love with someone? A lot of people said most definitely, absolutely. Karen said true. Nicole said this is it right here. Nico Charlo said facts. Us men gotta keep her in the higher heights, existing in an
what?
yeah.
I can have different meanings though, you know what I mean?
Weed she out, my boy. Weed she out.
Oh, Jesus. Anyhow, existing in an atmosphere where only eagles can survive and where the yard rooster can't even consider entering. Most people, basically everybody was saying yes, absolutely. Let me see if there's anyone that gave a post worth. Maggie said lack of attention, lack of commitment, lack of trust, lack of communication. Get the point. I've always said it takes more than just love. My 2 cents.
And that's true.
Yeah. So, what's your take on it, Mr. Llanos?
What was the question?
Do you believe that lack of attention can cause you to fall out of love?
Yeah, I remember the question. I was thinking about some experiences of how we kept that spark going. But nobody don't have that couch potato. I mean, let's be honest. You want to be able to run around naked and free and do wild things. What's Debbie face?
Okay.
Not literally, Debbie, but I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you gotta spice it up. Clearly nobody wants someone that's just gonna be dormant, quiet, not saying stuff, you know what I mean? You want to be able to
But actually, let me ask you a question, because the question really says, and Kima posted this, do you all believe lack of attention can cause you to fall out of love? So this is my question. People, like, do you think it's that you fall out of love or you're just not interested? Because you could love that person still. You're just not interested anymore because they're not, you know, captivating you. You're not spending enough time together. Again, talking love language here.
I said in a previous shot, you know, the falling in and out is more about being balanced in love, and that's the level of equality that you have to achieve with you and your partner. I mean, if you've achieved that, then of course you guys are on the same wavelength. So having that balance should nothing should be boring, because you guys should really complement each other. Once that balance is there. Now, if you have one doing more than the other, yeah, it's gonna be like, what's going on in this relationship? What's happening? There's no spark. There's nothing happening, and it's not the responsibility of one person, because a relationship really, we know, is two. So it's not just one person be responsible for creating all the joy, all the, the fun, you know what I mean, all the extraness or whatever. But it has to be two people coming together and making that happen. Definitely.
Right, but we're talking about actually attention, giving them attention. Let's say you're wrapped up in
Yeah,
your
I mean,
job,
let's say
and
what?
you're wrapped up in your profession and you're not giving that person attention.
Again, it's
That's-
about that balance. It's not just, it's about being in balance. I mean, you got to balance your life. You got to balance each other's lives. You guys got to come together and find that common ground. And of course, we're going to go back to the whole conversation vibes. You got to find ways to make this work. You have to, because yeah, we do get caught up in our everyday life. Everyone does. Everyone does. So you know that that definitely has to, you got to find out that common ground, that place, that feng shui of sorts to just come together and be like, man, let me tell you, when you get there and you find that, and you have somebody that just vibes with you like that, possibilities are just fucking endless. Oops, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
I sure did. I'm sorry. I just had a
And it's
moment
not feng shui either.
Vicky, that's that's your toxicity. You keep it. How about that?
How about you, Mr. Niles?
I'm just gonna piggyback off of what Louis was saying, and really and truly, I think a lot of people too, they have issues within themselves that they are not dealing with, that they try to pawn off on their partners as well. If you're not happy in a situation, once again, we're not mind readers, you know. So approach your partner and have the conversation about, listen, how can we make this better? Instead of just like, you know what, it's your fault, I'm bored, I'm gonna leave you, blah blah blah. Now let's talk about a work thing now. Because we live in the United States of America, most people have to, most families have to have two jobs,
Two income households, yeah.
households, and that's rough in any relationship.
Or two
But
jobs,
it's up
right.
right. So it's up to the couple to be like, you know what? Let's try to find some time. Let's have date night. Let's have karaoke night. Let's start to do more things together when and let's find a way to make our work life relationship work for us. Like I know a couple, and she's like a CEO for this company, and he's like an advertising agent, advertising professional. So they work from home. They come together and do projects. Then they do projects on their own. They have a house down in St. Croix. They have two houses in the States in different locations. But every time they travel together. You know what I'm saying? It's no like, I leaving you here, I'm going on a business trip. It's like, no. Okay, you coming with me. And that's also a way for you to build on your relationship, because this is trips that we taken, while you at work, I going and, learn the little scene. Then when you come home from work, or come home from like if you go to one of those, like a forum of some sort, and you come home and then we go and we explore, the area together. So it's all about understanding that your partner, that the person you're married to is your partner, and you should like treat your relationship as sort, Hey, and last to the point, I think that it's vital that people understand too that you have to let your partner know your thoughts. If it starts to, let's suppose like 5 years ago, you start to say, damn, this shit is getting boring. So you're gonna wait until it got so bad that now you want to leave the relationship. You had 4 years in between to try to work things out, but you've been like decided to stay quiet. No, that's your partner. Y'all sit down and you talk about it. If they ignore how you feel, then that person really and truly doesn't respect you or care about you. Then you should start to think like, okay, fine. This person does not have the partnership mentality, so yeah, it's time to move on.
True.
Pinky?
How about you, Trina?
Dad, help me. Where's the
Okay, well,
question? Where's the question?
The question was, do you think you can fall out of love if your partner's not giving you attention, basically?
Because these two went all over, and I was so lost. I thought that was the question. Like,
What?
We were mimicking you, Pinky.
Yeah.
see that?
How
I
about
could
that?
see
Yeah.
that.
How about that?
I could see that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about if you are not giving them attention, could you fall?
Out of
That's
love.
it, right? That's it. That's Lucy, and that's it. That's it, Lucy. I don't want me for an English teacher. I tell you, I feel in Iowa big time.
Look, we're
Anyway.
talking about English.
Exactly.
Don't let we go there.
Let's not bring up the group.
Please, I still can't understand half of it.
Before Pinky, before you respond, Kima said all relationships involve a dance of give and receive, cat and mouse, poetry and song. The symbiosis should be undeniable.
That's true.
And again, we've talked about this months ago. Love language. If that person's love language is quality time, you have to pay attention to that, because you might think that because you're doing XYZ and you're walking in your love language, that they're supposed, that's feeding theirs, and it's not. And so I remember my pastor saying that one of the things he had to realize as they got more busy in their church is that they had to make time for date night. And we've talked about this before. And so if you are busy, you have to, sit down, and like Lucian said, if it means that this person has to take a trip, find a way, both of y'all take that trip together. But if that relationship is priority, those are the kind of things that have to take priority, and you have to spend time together. So I don't know necessarily if you fall out of, but it definitely can open the door for the relationship to fall apart. So I guess it's how you want to take it. We have 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. You can't be in a relationship and don't spend time or don't invest in the relationship. You have to invest in the relationship. You have to invest in the person, both the relationship and the person. If you invest in the person, you'll be fine, So yes, if you ain't spending time, if we neglect anything, you neglect anything, it will die. And one way of surely killing some bad habits that we have in our life, I hear a spiritual teacher say, if you want to, I can't remember how we go, but you gotta starve out what it is in your life that you don't want. Starve it out, don't give it no food, don't give it no oxygen, and it will die, So it's the same thing with a relationship. If you don't give it any nourishment, it will die.
Correct. Okay, and the last one, briefly, that got a lot of views and comments was Carla Robinson put up, you're on a date, the man orders food for you and him, or for men. You're on a date and the woman orders food for you. What would you think? Someone said, if we married, sure. No, you can date your spouse. Someone said, Kimberly Gamble said, I'm just going to be honest. My red flag meter would be alarmed, primarily because my spirit is sensitive to the spirit of control. What would make you that comfortable with deciding what I want to eat and you don't know me yet? And then Kima said, which date though? So I guess it would depend whether you're just meeting this person and just starting to date, or if you all know each other, been around each other, that kind of, situation. Someone else, Dome, said exactly, but we see glass half full. This is cute to me, especially if he orders my favorite things. Karita said, heck no, I'll correct him and order for myself. But it garnered a lot of comments. I was trying to see here if any guys commented. It was mostly women, but of course, because it wasn't a scenario for men. But
yeah, so then we get a men perspective.
It would be interesting. How about if you guys were and let's put it like this, someone you just went out on a first to third date, and the woman orders for you, what would you think?
First and third is a big difference, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it's a date that like it's if it's not the first date and she knows like what I like, then I'm like, okay. For example, like, if we went to Touche's and then we were like,
Can't go wrong there.
exactly, so
Can't go wrong there.
we ordered, like, we ordered what we ordered, Louis, the salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah, we ordered the salmon. Then we went out again and we ordered the salmon. You know what I'm saying? So the third date would be like, hey, let's order the salmon. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that aspect, I mean, it's different. The first date now, it should be like, oh, I'm gonna get the salmon and he's gonna get the salmon too. I'd be like, really? Did we have that discussion? Like, no, no. I said, miss, check it out. Like,
Yeah, no,
But
right.
what if you wanted salmon and she
No,
ordered
but
the salmon for
but
you?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with you. Maybe a little cute. And you may be trying to impress me. I get that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at least get some idea. Like maybe in some kind of way, really ask me maybe earlier in the evening or earlier in the week. Hey, what do you like to eat? And then I'll order for you. Impress me with that. I think that's a smooth little group. I mean, I don't mind a young lady doing that, but not with absolutely no knowledge of what I like to eat or what my diet is like or anything. But if you do it in a smooth way, I think that's dope. I think that's really dope.
Or even piggybacking on that now, like let's suppose now like I ordered the steak, and then she says, you know what? Let's get some red wine. Red wine goes with steak. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that because you would have probably ordered a red wine anyway. See, that's different than you just be like, me order no steak and be like, yeah, we'll get 2 red wines because you like,
really,
you know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. So if she ordered the food for me, I mean, like if I ordered the food and then she saw like, okay, let me get a red wine because we pair red wine. So that's different. Or if she knows that I love Touche's freaking what do you call it?
Cheesecake.
The cheesecake. See, look at that. Even you knew.
the cheesecake.
I even knew after one time going there.
You understand? So then, like when they're bringing a check, you're like, no, he wants the cheesecake. I'd be like, okay, boom. I would feel that kind of way. You know what I'm saying? That's great because then she's actually paying attention. Like I think like as you get more into relationships as well, it's a very interesting topic because I remember like my ex, I knew that she hated ketchup. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I'll go to like some place and I'll get fries or whatever, I'm like, yeah, just give me mayo. She don't like ketchup. And I think that that's good because then it's sickening when you with somebody for like 10 years and they're still bringing you ketchup when they're supposed to know that you don't like ketchup. So it's important to pay attention to little details like that because it makes a difference.
Details are important. I mean, like I said, it could be kind of a sweet little thing. You go and you guys open the menu and she's just like, do you mind if I order for you? I mean, it's how it's presented and everything.
Sure.
I would just suck that up.
Brandy said it sounds controlling.
Oh, Grandy. And I
depends
just listen to all of this.
It depends. Again, it really depends. No,
Louis.
If you're coming from a different space, speaking and energy, so keep that. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. Because I'm not saying that that's gonna happen all the time. But if it's if it's a young lady that's really, trying, she did her homework, you know what I mean, and she actually put it out there. She's like, hey, you know what? Do you mind if I do this? I want to. Hold on, Pinky. Let me finish. We could have had conversations about dining many times. We could have wine. Press me. Pick a wine based on region. You know what I mean? Pick a wine based on a taste. Impress me like that. Tell me about the wine. You know what I mean? Do stuff like that. Do your research. Do your homework. That's dope. Okay. ain't the son you just coming and controlling and ordering for me all the time. Nah, there's ways to do that, Pinky. Come on, man. This
Okay,
this
but
goes back to making the relationship exciting.
Louis, I hear what you're saying. I hear why you're saying, right? When we get my problem, there's an answer, there's a giving.
Trina,
Giving.
You start rank
I'm
up jump.
gonna wrap
You
it. No,
start
I'm
rank
gonna wrap
up
it
jump.
up. I'm gonna wrap it up.
You
I ain't gonna be
start
busting me
rank
all the
up
time, and I gonna be like,
Talking
okay,
about no man problem.
I'm not finished. It's a giving. You cannot add to the giving. The question is, if you go on a date and somebody order for you, what would you think? That's the question. Now, I could put 1,000 scenarios in that and change it to what I want it to be. But the question is,
And that's
The
my
question
reality, and yours is different.
the question is,
That's my reality.
the question is,
And that's how I respond to it.
the question is,
Your question.
the question, can I answer the question?
go
Louis? Let
ahead.
me-
Go ahead.
Thank
Trina.
you, thank you. If I go on a date and somebody order for me, I don't want to know why. That's why I put in the thing. Why you ordering for me? You don't even know me to order for me.
But Trina, again, I think
Trina,
it's also
you know-
going to depend what, like someone earlier, I read the comment said. I think it also depends where you're coming from and your experiences. Because what
Stop
if you
being so rigid, Pinky.
what if you had been having phone conversation with this person
Okay,
and
but,
you did
but
just
the
like
question
Louis said,
didn't.
the person,
Pinky,
That's the research.
if you tell a man that you love the McDonald's Happy Meal, you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
he give you. He knows
Sounds
it.
right. Sounds
He like,
about right.
boom, let me get a number 3 and a Happy Meal for my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. Boom, that's
thank
it.
you.
And that's all we're saying. That's all I was saying.
I hear all those scenarios. What if the scenario is simply this? Okay, since we want 4 scenarios in there, let me try my scenario in. An online date, first date, he ordered my food. Why you ordering my food? You don't know me. That's a scenario, right? Right? First date,
Online
you don't
date.
know me. We never talk. You order my food.
How you
what I'm
never
saying-
talking? You're going out to dinner with somebody.
You could go out to dinner with somebody that you never really had no conversation about food with. I mean, I had a date. We never had no discussion on really food that you would honor my food for me.
Trina,
Unless
if
you're
you
planning-
and the person had a conversation that, hey, we're going to go out on a date.
Oh my God. Okay.
You're already discussing
I think
where you're going on
food
this date.
is a very common conversation to have in any relationship,
Okay.
whether it's a
Okay,
date
you
or
know
not.
what? I am so right and I am so wrong.
No,
We had
I'm-
all this discussion about food. Let me just add all of this into the question. We had all of this discussion about what I like. And if I go to this particular restaurant, if I go to Kentucky, I want the wings box. So he gonna take me to Kentucky and he gonna buy me the wing box. And he gonna even ask me no question. Cause he know I like the wing box.
There you go.
At night, I might just feel like eating some coleslaw and some string beans because I done a 30-day challenge and I give up fried chicken. So my thing to this is, at the end of the day, it is courteous and it is very respectful of the individual to ask them, what would you like to eat?
And that's
You
true.
don't just order for people because it can be very rude. And like Grantley said, I agree with you, Grantley. I'm agreeing with you. It could be very controlling. And as a woman or as a man, you want to go out on a date with a man or a woman ordering for you first date and you didn't even ask nothing? That's setting a tone.
Definitely not the first date.
That's true.
But
Now, if it's the 20th date, again, we could just add scenarios in there. If it's the 20th date, and you know that I always order this, and you're like, I know Pinky gonna like this. You could still say, Pinky, I know you don't always order this. That's what you want. I would find that to be so kind that you actually take a minute out to ask me if this is what I want.
And you still want a McDonald's milkshake too? That's
No, I want the Kentucky box, the wing box.
Oh my God. Well, these were some interesting comments, and like I said, we're discussing it because sometimes we have a lot of posts that come through our group, and although people make comments or whatever on them, again, take some of these comments and posts that come out and have these conversations with your family, with your, and present scenarios, because again, awareness, intention, also where you're coming from. We talk about muscle memory. If you're hurt, and you might look at certain scenarios a certain way. And so that's why we kind of wanted to actually bring some of these conversations to the forefront, because we saw that they garnered a lot of views and a lot of comments. So we got 5 minutes to wrap it up. Is there anything additional anybody wants to add?
I would like to say that Pinky was right in that her last statement.
What
Even
are we
though, so she did. It is true. It is controlling. I think that if you never met somebody and they ordered for you, it is kind of rude. Maybe they're in a budget and they were like, don't order. So, but Pinky for one, I mean, you were right, which is not too often, but
And he's referring to the first date only, by the way.
yeah, this first date, yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
Because down the road,
Thank
down
you,
the road, it's a
Lucian. I
different
was just
story.
seeing it from a different perspective. It ain't matter, right? It's just an opinion. It's just my opinion,
Nicole said, you don't try come for Pinky. So
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, right.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for continuing to invite your friends and family to the group. We're growing. We're almost to 900. And
Good stuff.
for commenting and posting not just controversial topics, but I mean, real life scenarios, things that people might not even think of. Because at the end of the day, these are different perspectives. It opens our awareness. It gives us a point of view that we might not have even thought about. Because again, look at Lucian and Pinky in just this last comment. So I just want to thank everybody again for viewing. And again, don't forget to subscribe and like our Love and Enlightenment USBI platform on YouTube. And I want everybody again to continue to stay safe and healthy, be intentional, have the conversation, be aware, because at the end of the day, we are trying our hardest to build healthy relationships and create a good legacy for our community. Anybody else want to say anything before we end?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Tell your friends, tell your family. Check us
And
out on YouTube.
And don't forget about Sunday Juki Jams. That's what it's called.
Juki Jam
Juki
sessions.
Jam.
Yeah.
Juki Jam sessions on Sunday.
Juki Jam, yes.
I mean, at the
Lucian,
end of
you
the
didn't
day-
post this week. Lucian, you
Yep.
didn't post Anita Louis.
Listen, at the end of the day, one of the reasons why that Juki Jam session was created is because it, number one, again, opens you to music you might not have ever heard, artists you have
Yeah.
never heard. You can add them to your playlist. I've heard songs that I'm like, I kind of threw a little twist this time, and we did soca and calypso. But again, you can add it to your playlist for your relationship. You can add it to your playlist for when you're working out. And anybody who's continuing to join us on this journey for the 30-day health, wellness, fitness challenge. Again, remember, it's not just what you're eating and getting in that exercise, but it's also getting in tune with yourself, increasing your prayer life, meditation, just intentional things in life to again create a better you. And we're going to continue to encourage each other, encourage everyone that's in the group. Whether it's somebody in the group or not, get your family involved with your walks, whatever it is you're doing, your health. Maybe you make a decision that one day is like our vegan day, and we create, some sort of menu for that day. I mean, this shouldn't just be about you, especially if you're attached to family and friends. So we're encouraging everybody continue to stay on track, and I wish everybody the best success. Okay.
Definitely,
Good night, everyone.
definitely.
Good night. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, of course, and wishing everyone good things, great things, beautiful things.
Have a safe weekend, all.
Yes.
See you next week.
Good night.
God's willing.